Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 2nd of June. So starting looking at the euro, and well, as I'm looking at this on 4-hourly point yesterday, I saw that there's some divergence sort of running across these highs here. Yesterday just ended up as an inside day effectively, hardly going anywhere. Looking at the 60 minute, you can see it just come back. It tested the 60-50, we actually went through to the 30-minute 100 actually, but just PS to 60-50 into the 30-minute 100, and then it's just consolidated since. Where to today? I do wonder if it starts breaking down. I'm looking at this weekly pivot below. It softened the euro today against many currencies, particularly the pound. It's 0.4% down on the pound. So it's as I say, a bit softer today at the moment. It may start doing something. It's in this consolidated phase. I guess the push would give us the clue. Looking from the big picture, you would think, well, yeah, it's a bit of a wedge sort of forming there. Maybe it will push up there, but as I say, with a weekly draw, it might just roll over. With the pound has started the day well. Yesterday closed up well as well. Momentum good. Let's look through the 4 hours here. Pushed on well yesterday afternoon, later afternoon as well, towards the later side of the afternoon, and just continues through this Asian session. Looking at the 60-minute, what I'm seeing here though is a bit of divergence across this with this MACD. There is an untouched daily pivot. Open-minded at the moment. If it starts rolling a little bit more, maybe that pivot will be an option. It doesn't mean to say it's going to take it massively out of trend. It's been quite a bitty old market recently, and even if it comes back to that, it could stay within the bigger trend there. So I am watching that this morning as we sort of move into the sort of early trading session here. Dollar yen. Well, the yen again, it's in its tight old range. Little to be said or done on that, I think, at the moment. It does at times provide a good secondary currency cross pair with some of the stronger pairs here. We may have seen the pound yen pushing up, but this is certainly softer at the moment, and well, not much to add because it's so rangy. It could just run into this R1, it could turn around quite quickly and stay in range. So there's no real trend there, nothing to be done with that individually. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar, we've seen some decent numbers coming out, and they've left the interest rate untouched and all looking okay there. We've got 4 hourly, no divergences or anything here. 60 minutes, okay, it's softened up a little bit around these highs here at the moment. The US dollar, I'm just looking across my charts here. The US dollar certainly seems to have picked up a bit. There aren't many currencies that are stronger. The exception being the pound is doing better against it, but pound and CAD of the majors. But the rest are below it, and this is one. Surprisingly, not far, but it's below. It's has again, looking at daily pivot here, maybe if that rolls over, but maybe a trend line across there, or even that 60-minute 21 would give us a bit of a clue, but that wouldn't even give us much in the way of targets. At the moment, I would it's the most bullish of the pairings. It's the most favoured overall, so I do think it will potentially, any retracements would be bought into. Okay, Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar. We're talking about favoured ones and sentiment basis. The Canadian dollar is doing pretty well. Big money has been running into sentiment, improving on the cotton analysis. Continuing its sell-off here yesterday against the US dollar, pushed down again. A lot of this price action sort of occurring midday onwards. Price of oil pushed back up would have certainly helped it. Where we are now, well, bit of divergence into these absolute lows where we're sitting here. Bit of divergence across here on the 60-minute. It has got daily pivot above. The way this has been moving back, I think any retracements, maybe a bit more shallow retracements into that 60.21 may provide sell points. Okay, that's pretty much that. Oil. So oil just run into its daily 100. It sort of paused there yesterday. Very small range yesterday, but did pick up in the latest session. Looking at this price action on the 4-hourly here, it does look like it's knocking on the door for the next step up. Still sitting at $35, but has the potential to kick beyond that as it stands now. And the more we see industry starting back up in many different countries, the more likely we're to see this pushing back up towards 40, maybe even $50 later in the year or into next year. Original forecasts were much lower than that by many analysts, but as I say, as things are starting to pick up, of course, if production figures start increasing, that would soon spoil that. But I think the oil producers are now sitting there thinking they'll make more for less. Okay, finally S&Ps. So the S&Ps ended up yesterday on another positive day. Okay, maybe some would point that as a bit of a hanging man price action. It's very consolidated where it sits. It's not being overly obvious where we're going from here. It caught the pivot, the weekly pivot yesterday on the open there. It's pretty much done everything it should do here. It's already through today's pivot. If anything, with the higher lows coming through there, it does look more erring on the bullish side. I mean, it did put a new high in yesterday as well, near-term high, not as high as last week's, but it's doing all the right things there, and has potential to maybe run up to that 3064 area at least, which is pretty much where it ran into last week. Okay, that's it for me. No real major news due out today. I'm just having a quick recheck here. It's all sat around the Aussie dollar, the cash rate statement, etc. I think there's some low-key data coming out for the UK, etc., but nothing reportable. So left to technical devices. Have a great one. Bye for now.